Identities are a huge thing in the car world right now. Ford is stopping production of their sedans to identify as a company that makes trucks and SUVs. Dodge is shoving giant performance engines in everything they make to form their identity as a performance company. Tesla is making fun electric cars, and that's their identity. But at a time when all other car companies seem to be trying to focus on creating a specific identity in terms of design and performance, Toyota seems to be going the opposite way by diversifying their lineup, and that's pretty evident in this new 2019 RAV4. And before I explain what the heck I'm talking about, a huge thanks to Darcars Toyota of Silver Spring for providing this RAV4. I'll put their email in the description. They have a huge selection. If you're looking for a new or used Toyota, that's the place to be. Now back to the video. This is what I'm on about. The RAV4 doesn't look like much else in Toyota's lineup. It doesn't look anything like the new Corolla. It doesn't look anything like the new Prius, but maybe that's a good thing. It does look a little bit like the current Tacoma with its squared wheel arches and overall rugged design, like its hexagonal front grille. But other than that, it doesn't look much else like any of the other trucks in the Toyota lineup, like the much curvier Tundra. So today we're going to be showing you around the RAV4. We have this XLE trim right here to show. We're going to show you the outside of a bit, and then we have the interior of an Adventure model that we're going to show you around. The new 2019 RAV4 is riding on Toyota's TNGA platform. For those of you that don't know, the TNGA platform is basically a modular platform a lot of the Toyota lineup is being built on right now. So now we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at the design. So we're going to start by taking a look at the front. This is, in my opinion, the most successful part of the new 2019 redesign. I really like the look of the headlights and that hexagonal grille. I think it's much more sculpted than it is previously. One peculiar thing I noticed on the front was sort of this little strip right here in between the hood and the grille. It's surely an intentional design, not any body panel gap. I just found it an interesting look. Now this is the Adventure model I was telling you about. We're just going to show you the front of this one because that's really the only exterior difference between this and the XLE. But it's just sort of interesting to note how this one has sort of a more rugged look to it. Certainly this area is differently sculpted, and you have this nice contrasting silver down here to go with the red paint. It's a nice touch. I definitely like the look of this more, but the XLE isn't bad looking either. So on the side, you're going to see, again, that is a very dramatic redesign. This XLE has these 17-inch wheels right here. On the Adventure model, you're going to get 19-inch black wheels. One thing I like about the side is this body line down here. It might be hard to see on video, but I think it adds a lot of nice depth to the car. Now, one other nice body line on the side that I actually didn't see in any videos of this car, it's very faint, is a body line towards the back. It's sort of sloped and it goes in this sort of curved direction. I like it a lot. It adds a lot of depth to the car and it looks nice. One thing I do not like about the side of this car is the floating roof line. Toyota, you're not fooling anyone. This cheap piece of black plastic is not going to make any of us think the roof is floating. Please stop doing it. And know what? That's not the only place they do it. It also happens up here on the windshield. It's a ridiculous looking design, and this car would look so much better, in my opinion, if they just kept it red. I know some people like it and think that's an out there design. I think it's overused and it looks cheap. So around here at the back of the RAV4, I'm going to be honest, nothing is horrible, nothing is great. Some reviewers have said it reminds them of a Mitsubishi at the back, and I certainly can see that. I don't think there's any specific design feature that makes it look like a Mitsubishi. I think it's just the overall general look. The exhaust back here are kind of interesting. It's not a traditional exhaust pipe, or it's not the fake exhaust like we've seen on a lot of cars here in 2019. It's sort of a baby exhaust inside a fake exhaust tip. It's, you know, it's not the best in the world, but it's better than the fake exhaust we've seen on a lot of cars these days. We're going to move inside soon. I just wanted to point out one little interesting feature. There's this little black plastic piece sticking out from the rear tail light. I think it might be part of the Toyota Safety Sense rear blind spot system, but I'm not sure. Now, we are going to kick it inside, and normally this is where I would pass it off to my coworker, Cole. Unfortunately, Cole is not here this week due to a tragic accident involving squash. But he will be here next week, don't worry, let's take it inside. Just kidding, we will move inside, but first let's talk engines. So there are two options, both based off a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. The gas-only model, like the ones we have here, produce 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, getting 26 city, 35 highway mpg. There's also a hybrid model producing 219 horsepower and getting 41 mpg in the city and 37 on the highway. Alright, now to the interior. So we're here on the inside, and this is the Adventure model, and it definitely screams adventure with this interior design. There's a lot of rugged sort of design features like this sculpted front area, and the materials are also very nice. There's a lot of rubberized material in here that we'll show off later in the review. In terms of other materials, you have soft armrests. Really the only hard touch plastic is here on the doors, but that doesn't really matter. That's not a place you're touching a lot. Almost everything in here is a rubberized material or it's soft touch, like up here on the dash. Overall, it's a very nice interior. So we're going to talk about the driver's position. The heated steering wheel is very nice. It's leather. You do have access to all of your Toyota safety sense systems on here. So that gets you your adaptive cruise control, your lane keep assist. It's standard on a lot of Toyota models now. It's a very nice thing to have standard that a lot of other cars charge you a lot more for. In your center, we have the upgraded 7-inch display. It's flanked by 2 physical gauges. It's a very nice and usable display. The only criticism I have of this is that it's not really nicely integrated into the gauges like some FCA products, for example. Other than that, it's very useful, it's large, it's bright. One thing completely unrelated to any of what I just mentioned, but still in the driver's area, is this very nice cubby. It's perfect for holding a phone or credit cards. Volvo does a similar thing in the XC40. It's a nice, useful feature. So in the middle, you're going to find Toyota's Entune system. It's a 7-inch display. It is vivid, it's bright, high definition. You can use it quite easily. It's pretty snappy. It does have Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto. It does look a little dated when you use the GPS in here, but since you're going to probably be using your Waze or Apple Maps integration with your CarPlay, that's really not a big deal. Some people may not like how it's just slapped on like a tablet. Personally, I don't mind, and I think Toyota actually did somewhat integrate it into the car by using the air vents. But again, some people I know strongly dislike that look. It's going to be a decision you have to make. One thing that is kind of odd about this infotainment system is the bezel. It's much larger than a lot of the competitors to fit the buttons on, I guess, but it's still pretty wide. I feel like I'm doing a smartphone review here. So moving down from the Entune system, you have your climate control area. Nothing special to mention here. It is nice that the knobs have that same rubberized material I previously mentioned. It does scream adventure. This is the adventure trim after all. My only gripe with this area would be that the passenger airbag indicator is kind of old. It's just a black and orange indicator. It would have been nice if they found a better way to integrate it other than just slapping it right there. As we continue our way down the center console, you're going to find that there's sort of an orange rubberized area with this neat little X pattern in it. You find the same pattern in the seats and in front of the passenger area. It's a nice pattern that is a nice continuity throughout the car. Something else that you'll find down there is your drive mode controls that, are pretty standard in vehicles these days. You'll also find the shift lever, which I actually find very nice. Instead of just being a button and a dial, which I hate, it's a well thought out lever, and it's not just any plastic lever. It's leather wrap. It has a leather on it. It has a nice metal piece in it. Clearly some thought went into the design of it, and I'm a big fan. Now, the other things in the center are your pretty standard cup holders, which do have that nice orange rubberized material again. They're large, hold cups, and also your center console, which is leather stitched, and it also does have 2 USB ports in it. It's deep enough to hold average items. So the seats in the RAV4 are very visually interesting. There's a lot of orange stitching in this adventure trim, along with sort of a little stripe that goes down the middle of the seat. They're well bolstered. It's certainly an interesting look that does shout off-road ruggedness. In terms of comfort, they feel nice, pretty average, and they're heated, cooled, power adjustable driver, and manual for the passenger. I was about to get out of the RAV4 and I noticed something really interesting. The pull handle, normally your car will have a area to grab right here to pull and close the door. Not so on the RAV4. Your only option is right here. I would have preferred to have the option to pull right here, but it's not a deal breaker in any way. So I'm here in the rear of the RAV4 now. Legroom is excellent for the small mid-size crossover class. The materials are just as nice as they are up front. You have more of this white padded material. The seats are leather, and they do have some visually interesting designs like they do in the front. In terms of creature comforts, on the XLE and up trims, you are getting rear air vents. You have USB ports and cup holders back here. Now, my inner Doug DeMuro is coming out because something caught my eye. On the front seats, you can see what looks to be almost like a zipper. I looked, and to no avail, there is no zipper. but it's still an interesting visual design choice. So as we were getting out, we noticed two interesting things. First of all, both Colin, our cameraman, and I accidentally lowered our windows when we tried to get out of the car. It's just the placement of the window switches is kind of weird. The other odd thing is when you close a door, the car beeps 3 times. Take a listen. So this adventure in total comes in at just over $38,000 MSRP. Thanks again to Darcars at Toyota for letting us take a look at this. And also we want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and checking out some of our other videos. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you in the next video.